So Edie, we've been training together a long time, right? We've got a very similar skill set, but sometimes we diverge very differently on how we train people based on the data we receive and how we feel the day might need to go. So what can you tell me about your experience with HRV tracking?
HRV is a way of knowing how well you recovered or under recovered. Okay, so a higher HRV would tend to be you're recovering adequately. A lower HRV tends to mean that you are under recovering. So what do we do? Do we go by intuition or do we go by the numbers? What do you think?
All right, so here's what I'll tell you. So I went through a period where I used the HRV a lot, and I personally felt like it actually limited my perspective on my day. So I would do it first thing in the morning. I would put the band on, I would take a look at it, and it would be in the red or in the green. But based on that, I would make decisions regardless of maybe how I was actually feeling. Now, that might have been what was going on inside, right? Truly, and maybe I did need a break, but I probably could have pushed myself a little bit in those situations without any kind of detrimental effects.
Compromise, yeah. I mean, just based on the way you're wired, instinctively you go by feel. The way I'm wired, instinctively I go by data. I'm a harm avoider, so I tend to kind of go with numbers. That doesn't mean I won't. Okay, my HRV says I should be kind of doing a recovery workout. That doesn't mean that same day I won't hit a PR. But generally, I would go by the data, and usually it is correct. For my clients, a lot of them, I kind of have to save them from themselves, and a lot of them need tangible evidence because a lot of your clients, let's be honest, they lie to us. I mean, they come in, how you feel, like, yeah, man, but you seeing something different. So some of my clients, not all, I have them check the recovery, and I could see it from home. So I have my little iPad, and I could pretty much see the numbers and stuff like that. And when they come in, yeah, maybe we were supposed to hit a PR today, but the number says otherwise. We are going to maybe do a couple warm-up sets, and it all depends on how you feel. Or we just pretty much like keep your heart rate in a certain zone to better facilitate recovery. How do you deal with your clients?
Well, what I'll say there is that it seems like, so what you're telling me is that HRV is a good guideline, right? So you'll bring them in. Hey, the HRV said this, and now we're going to give you a chance to assess and see how you feel. So maybe, like, you tell me if I'm wrong, but in your coach's mind, you'll think, okay, you know what? You're in the red. I probably shouldn't push for a PR today. But if you tell me, if we warm up and you're fired up and you feel ready to go, then maybe I'll scale within the limits so going by the data that is present, that you're aware of, and maybe they feel like they can go and they've got a desire to go. Do you scale somewhere in the middle and think, okay, well, we're not going to go for a PR, but maybe we don't have to completely scale back?
Yes, we still do what we will plan to do, but it's going to be scaled back. Now, if there's a downward trend to your HRV, then definitely we need a recovery workout, or a couple recovery days. If it's a one-off, which happens, so you're in the green, that means you're ready to go, and then you have one off day, red. That doesn't mean anything. It just means that, you had a shitty night's sleep or something like that. But most likely, these are the days where you actually hit a PR, just that one off day. So it all depends on the day. Downward trend, I would tend to go 1 or 2 recovery days. One off, we probably will still go do what we were going for that day.
So I'll tell you where I feel like HRV would come in handy, right? Is so, as you said, as we discussed, I'm largely intuition based. So the minute I pick up a weight, I feel, oh, my grip feels strong today. I feel like I'm ready to go. And I think where HRV comes in handy for me is to let me know when something is bubbling underneath the surface. So not to be, dramatic about it, but the same way that you wouldn't be aware that you're getting sick when you talk about trends, you're not aware you're getting sick until you're actually sick, until something's wrong. Well, when you're on a downward trend, it can inform you of that and tell you, hey, regardless of how you may be feeling right now and what you think you can do, here's the trend, pay attention to this. And why this is important to me, even as intuition based as I am, and I feel like this and I trust myself more than anything, why that's important to me is that I would say over the last several years, the injuries started racking up. And, if we talk about a bell curve of training, and this is light and this is, really going hard, I spend way too much time here. And then the injuries would aggregate. And the mood would drop, the energy would drop, I would feel awful. Well, guess what? There was probably a downward trend in there, regardless of how you felt. So I think that HRV, as you push to the higher limits of your strength, as you train harder and tax your CNS more heavily, and there's more damage done, I think that can inform you where your intuition may be falling short or where your ego is taking the steering wheel.
Yeah, sometimes it's a good check for your ego.
Right.
Especially for somebody like you. Yeah, just think of HRV as a window into your nervous system. It just tells you how well you recovered. And again, we look at trends. We don't look at a one-off, but we look at trends.
I have a client I'm thinking of specifically who, when they watch this, they'll know exactly that I'm talking about them. But this is somebody that always wants to do something, that's always, on the go and is very achievement oriented. And this is somebody who is tapping in now to the, who's tapping into the upper limits of their strength, who's performance wise is able to do more and more. So I'm trying to impress upon them the importance of recovery days. You're doing more, so you need to recover more. The message is heard with mixed results, but I think HRV in a case like this would be very good to show, hey, week in, week out, you're working out 6 days a week, and here's generally a trend downwards. Maybe you take a vacation, it goes back up, but you're undermining your own performance. So I think that there is room for both. I think intuition can carry me a large portion of the way. But I think HRV comes in handy to pump the brakes.
Yeah, us as coaches, we have been doing that for long enough. So intuitively, we know when our client comes in, feeling down, sad or whatever. Yeah, we were planning to do that, but okay, we'll scale it down. Or like we weren't planning to do that. Okay, so we're going to shift from lower body to upper body or what have you. The reason I like HRV is to hold the clients accountable, because a lot of the times they want to do more than I think they should do, because I know they're stressed out of their mind. I know they've had a tough day at work. I know they have to go home, to take care of the kids and stuff like that. So when I show them, okay, look, this is the trend I'm seeing. I'm seeing a trend going down. What are we doing here? And that kind of holds them accountable.
I think that as it pertains specifically to training for me, now I respect recovery a lot more, and I'm aware of the demand on my CNS, and I'm aware just how much is being taken away. So I understand that a lot needs to be given back. I think HRV was good at informing just how much I was on a downward trend by demanding so much from myself. And even as my life got more complicated, because your body many times does not distinguish between stress, right? Your stress aggregates, your CNS gets fried.
Yeah. Your body doesn't know the difference between in the gym stress or at home stress.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, up the stress goes, you don't recover enough, especially as life gets busier, and then, you ask more from yourself, and then you hit a wall. I think if you're recovering responsibly, for me, HRV is less of a necessity, but I think if you're somebody that's less aware of the load that you impose on yourself through your lifestyle, through your work, through stress, whatever, you aggregate all this stuff. Hey, here's what's happening to you, and maybe the connecting piece here is that HRV is very good to build awareness.
Yes, just like a step tracker. That's why I would recommend step trackers, especially if you're not getting enough steps. For you, we are experienced coaches, so we know. I'm more of a data guy, so I just collect data just for the heck of it. So it is not necessarily something you need, but I just think it's a good tool.
Yeah, and I think for my high performing people, it would be a good tool around awareness, because these people like to push, they like to see PRs, upper limits, like to train for it, but they're not necessarily aware of
Especially,
the
yeah,
load.
when you're going for a PR, recovery is just as important as the actual workout itself. So definitely, in that case, they would need numbers, because it just could be just that little,
Yeah,
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 would
agreed.
make or break your PR.
I think that unfortunately, a lot of people have this more is more mentality with what they do in the gym. And especially as it pertains to strength training, that is not the case. You need to do what you need to do, get out and recover so that you optimize the next strength training session. So often I run into clients, people who have this notion that the more you do, the more reps you do, the more heavy reps you do, the stronger you'll get. And this couldn't be further from the truth. So I feel like HRV, so I talk about pumping the brakes and how it's a good tool for that, is great to inform them that, hey, all your work is not aggregating success. You're actually starting to work backwards. And in a sense, your body is starting to resent you and going to push back against all that you're asking for it to do.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, if you don't give your body rest, your body will automatically take it. That's when you get injured. And whenever you're going for a PR, strongman and stuff like that, you hardly ever go above 85%.
Right, leave something in the
So yeah,
tank.
so I mean, the pros know what to do, but our clients, we work with, they grow up with that mentality, is the more is better,
Yeah.
because that's how they build their businesses. That's how they've become successful in life.
But you know what, even when, and this could be a conversational piece for down the road, but I feel like there's this grind culture in the gym, on the grind, doing the thing, working hard. And it's this, I gotta tell you, I've known people that come out of various boot camps that are like, oh, I barely survived that. What an amazing
I
feeling.
mean, listen, the good thing is, that trend is kind of turning now. A lot of people now are really focused on the biohacking thing, the sleep. So a lot of people is like, yeah, sleep. Before you know it, I mean, a lot of people are like, I'm going to sleep when I'm dead. But now I see that trend turning to a lot of people focusing on sleep now, which is an awesome trend.
I'll say this, and I don't know if they want to end up using this as footage or not, but when I took the seminar on anti-glycolytic training, it drastically changed how I approach conditioning for clients, because it became about, we're going to work up to the point of fatigue and stop before fatigue and build up our threshold for fatigue over time, as opposed to getting in the zone, kicking our own butts, and suffering for it. And on a cellular level, they talk about how you're actually damaging your mitochondria doing that. So if you're doing it once in a blue, if you're giving your mitochondria, to quote Pavel, an acid bath once in a blue, it's good to get rid of the weak old ones to make room for new ones. But if you're constantly pummeling your mitochondria, you're actually going to just like everything else, you're going to set yourself back, because they're going to get damaged and your ability for output is going to decrease. Just like strength training, anything else. To your point, if you're not a pro and you don't know what the right course of action is, then the data can help show you what the right course of action is. Hey, we're going hard all the time. Guess what? We're not just going in this direction anymore. We're starting to make a U-turn. I mean, you know what? Because I thought about it as we were doing it, and I'm like, this is such
yeah. What I wanted to say, like, you always want to bring yourself just to that line, and then you pull back. Just to that line, pull back. At the end of the day, it's all about, like, our philosophy is minimum effective dose.
Correct.
I mean, I want you to be pretty much doing the same thing every day. So, I mean, you could squat, theoretically, you could squat every day, you could bench every day. That doesn't mean we're going to go 85, 90%, but you just do a little every day.
And you leave something in the tank. So, I was explaining it to a new student of mine, and I was saying that, what you do is, in terms of the conditioning work, you don't go over your credit limit. Think about it as a credit card, right? You work up to a certain amount that you can pay off. You stop before that, you pay it off, and then your credit limit goes up over time. You don't max out your credit card, pay it off. If anything, that hurts your credit over time.
That definitely hits your credit, yeah.
So, what you need to do is you need to come at it like you're responsibly going at your credit score.
Yeah, you need to pay your credit card off every month. Pretty much that's what it is.
But sustainably so, right? So what you do with your conditioning work, what you do with your strength training work is you always leave something in the tank, right? But what's that geared towards? Sustainability, longevity, right? And the HRV helps with that. The intuition helps with that. I guess we went off on a bit of a tangent here, but as I was thinking about HRV, I think HRV is a great tool to inform the go-hards, the grind culture people of this is not necessarily working for you. You're about to do a boomerang or a U-turn or however you want to see it in the other direction, because more does not equal more. Not for strength training. There's certain scenarios, like, I know if you're doing bodybuilding, maybe more is
no. Even that, I mean, again, it's you still need adequate recovery.
Yeah, because there's a point. Again, you know what? Even then, more is more with bodybuilding. Your joints are going to suffer. Your muscles are going to suffer. You can induce. I mean, it's rare, but rhabdo. Like if you just do too many reps. So leave something in the tank. So this is actually a big part of what we've built into our reignition project. Recovery strategy is a huge part of it. So if you've ever felt stuck, foggy, or like you're constantly dragging your feet through the gym, you're not going to want to miss this one. And if you're curious how this whole system works and could work for you, head to geteverreadyfit.com, book a free call with us, and we'll show you how to align your plan with your brain and your body.
We don't just train harder, we train smarter.
See you next week.
Peace.